Hi guys, my name is Stephen Downey and I'm a Toastmaster with Phoenix Tower Toastmasters in Dublin in Ireland. As part of my role within my club, I am the Pathways Ambassador and I try to help all of our members to get through Pathways in the easiest way possible and to just understand what's required for each speech that they take. As part of that role, I'm going to go do a quick walkthrough through Pathways and show you how to log in. If you can't log in, how you can recover your password, and just through your first icebreaker and what's required of you within Pathways, and what you need to go from there, what your evaluations are, and we might even touch on some feedback areas as well. So without further ado, I'm just going to go over to toastmasters.org so we can have a look through the page. So when you go to the page, at the very top of the screen, you're going to see the login button. If you click on here, you can see my details are already here, but there's a forgot password button. If it is a case where you've logged on to Pathways maybe a year ago when it was launched and you never used it since, but you forget what your password is, don't fear. Just put your email address here, click submit, and you'll easily get your details back and you'll be able to get back up and running in Pathways in no time. So again, to get to there, we just went to the login screen, we went to forgot password, and we put our email address in. So I'm going to log in with my details, and when I go into Pathways, first screen we see at the very top, I'm just going to click on Pathways, and this is a step actually that a few people have said to me that they weren't too sure where to go. I'm going to give you a little thing to remember. We're going to climb Everest, and if you want to climb Everest you have to go to base camp first. So we're going to go to base camp 1. Really, Basecamp is just a software system. There's nothing to worry about it at all. But when you enter Basecamp, this is the first screen that you see. If you haven't chosen a path yet, the first place you want to go to is this section on the left. It's called Path Selection. In here you'll see, now mine is slightly different because I already have a path selected, so it's going to charge me $20. But if this is your first path, you will not be charged the $20. There's an assessment here, so we can take the assessment. Now, I'm not going to go through all the assessment, but I'm just going to say to you that it's a very good way to get an idea of what you want from Pathways. So we start, it's a series of questions, so like things, three interesting topics that from the list below. For me, it's public speaking, it's speech writing, it's motivating others. And as I go along, it's going to try and hone down on exactly what I want from Toastmasters. Public speaking, learning about simply help my public speaking again, and I'm a team rather than team leader. I'm unsure. I'm going to in between that. And as I go along, there's going to be certain questions, and it's going to try and distinguish between whether you want to go on a purely leadership path or if you want to go on a more speech writing and presentation path. For myself, I've picked presentation mastery. Reason being, I found that it seemed to be very close to what the Competent Communicator Manual was, and it really gave me everything I wanted from Toastmasters when I joined. Now, the great thing about Pathways is that as you progress through your journey within Toastmasters, you may want different things. So whereas now I want to look at public speaking, I want to look at my presentation skills, in the future I might want to look at a more leadership role, and there's great pathways out there for that. So once you do select your path, we can go into our first page again, and you'll see this is where my club is chosen. Because I'm in two clubs, I'm in my own home club, Phoenix Tower, and I'm also in a work club, Irish Life Toastmasters. They're both selected there, so I can go into either club. For this demonstration, I'm going to stick with my home club, Phoenix Tower, and I'm going to go to Basecamp. When you come into Basecamp, the first time you do, it'll give you a brief tour and it will tell you all the different areas. I'm actually going to do that quickly just so you can see. So if you come up here, you'll find resources. So this is actually a very good search tool where you can actually search for other members of, so hopefully it'll work when, yeah. So I can look at for other members of my club and I can select them, give them feedback, etc. We go down here, you're going to learn about Basecamp and navigating, so it's in the educational side. You can access your transcript here, and again it's giving you a reminder, if you haven't taken the assessment, please do. This is the feedback section, very interesting, where you can give feedback to other members, and you can also request feedback. So if you're giving a speech and you'd like feedback from your club or from a specific member, you can request it here. Pathways also has the feature of badges, so as you progress through your path you'll receive badges, but again you can also receive badges from your other members. So in this way we're given reassurance and positive feedback to the other members of our clubs. And the last section is probably the most valuable for when you're going to give a speech. It's your speech evaluation, and we'll give you all the PDFs and resources that you need to take your speech. The bottom section is about launching your PAT, and it gives you all the quick launches to open your curriculum straight away. I'm going to go into the educational transcript just to show you which way there. So I'm going to access my PAT, and within here this is going to show me if I've opened any modules at all. They'll all be here. Sometimes it can be a lot of noise. If you want to go back to just your curriculum or your PAT, this is mine. So what I did there was I just picked curriculum. You could also online classes, and it shows which ones. So if I go and open my curriculum, you'll see that at the moment, as I said, I'm on presentation mastery. I'm on level 2, and I'm going to go back and show you just within level 1 for anybody who is taking Icebreaker for the first time what's involved. So as you progress through your path, more and more options will be open to you. As you can see, actually in my level 2 I can see all of level 2 and I can launch all of them, but if I try to go into level 3 I can't open that yet. I need to progress through level 2 first. So if I go back to, like I said, up to Icebreaker, so this is the first speech, and it's an absolute carbon copy of your speech and objectives that you want from the competent communicator. This is an introduction to you, from you to your club, and it's about getting confidence of just standing up in front of people and giving a 4 to 6 minute speech. If I launch the program for this, it's going to open up our PAT in a new screen, and you may at this stage get a message about a pop-up blocker. If your browser does feature that, this mightn't open. You may see a little square in here, but there is messages within Pathways to tell you how to get around that if it's not set up yet. So this is just launching. As it's launching, I'm just going to increase the size just for ourselves so we can make sure we can see everything fine. Now, because I've already completed this, it's actually started at congratulations, so it's going back to the very end. Now you can see at the very bottom of the screen there is an option to actually navigate through. So this is like a shortcut that will show you through the whole of the screen. So if I go back to navigation, so this is what you would see if you hadn't done it yet, and it's telling you how to actually navigate through. So these are the buttons that it's referring to, and it's also talking about the bottom where you might get directions. So as we go through, there's our introduction. I'm not going to go through the whole of the Icebreaker, but I'm just going to show you some of the important parts. So this will just give you information about how to view and print project resources. This is a PDF, so it's very interactive and it's very intuitive as well. So just going to close that off, close down those directions. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to skip through here just and show you what areas you have. So every project will have this list of tasks within the project that will try and help increase your skills. One thing at the very start is your assessment. So what we're doing here is we're assessing what our skills are before we take on the project and before we give our speech. So this is a series of questions. Am I calm and confident? I didn't feel too calm in front of other people. And as you go through, you'll have a series of questions. After you give your speech, the same assessment will be at the end. And the idea is kind of see where are you now compared to where you were before you took on the module. And as you go through, one important thing before you give, because it can be daunting, so what do I bring to my meeting? What should I actually do? So when you actually get to this stage, so in this part I would have gone through all of the module, and it has all the resources you need. So it'll give you your evaluation resources, which is PDF, which you can print out and bring to your meeting, and you could even send it to your evaluator before the meeting, so they have an idea of what they have to fill in. This is your own personal record, and the evaluator would fill this in. There's notes for the evaluator on how to fill it in, and they can do one of two things. It depends on the club and how you keep your records. Your VPA may keep a record of these, or on a personal level you may keep it yourself in a folder. You can also scan it, and I'm going to show you where, if you are keeping a digital record of it, where you should keep that record. So I'm just going to go back in and just show the resources. It's also going to show your outline of your worksheet. So this is really what you need to do to prepare for your icebreaker speech. So this is your sheet that you can print out and you can fill in. So it's what's your main points about yourself, what's your reason for joining Toastmaster, what are your goals, and then it goes through the outline and structure of what your speech should do. So a greeting, how could you capture the audience attention? How can you introduce yourself? How will you transition smoothly between your introduction? And then it's using the power of 3 for our body, where we have got our main point 1, main point 2, and main point 3, and then a conclusion. And in that way, it has given you the structure to build your first speech for Toastmasters, so you will feel prepared for your icebreaker. It's pretty similar to what you would have got in the Competent Communicator manual. So I've gone through all of the resources that you will get inside each module. Now this is at the end of every module. It's going to show you a printout of exactly everything you need. You also have a print my project, so this is actually a full PDF of the icebreaker challenge. So if you do feel more comfortable printing it out, you can print out all of this, and this is giving you all the details that you need. So I'm going to close this for the moment. I'm going to go back to our curriculum. So what I've done is I've gone through all of our details here, and once you complete it, once you complete your speech within your club. Sorry, I'm actually closing it, so I'm actually going back in for a second. One thing I wanted to show you is, as I said, you'll end up here. That's the last place I was. And again, if you do open it and you find that you can't see the buttons, like you can't here, just increase it. So what I'm doing is I'm just dragging from the corner. You'll see the arrow changing there. And what's happening is that after this evaluation, this is where you would have stopped. You would have gone and given your speech within your club, and I can do my after skills, and I can actually fill in the same statement and shake. Now I've already completed mine, so it's going to skip ahead. And congratulations, I have finished my icebreaker. So I'm now free to close that, and I would start my evaluation and feedback project. Now I did mention there about where would you put your evaluation worksheets. If you see just in the top corner here, this is my profile. So if I click there, on my profile you'll see details about myself, any of the roles that I've taken on, and also a feedback section. So I'm just here hovering over the top, and you can see that I can request feedback from other members of my club. So if I want, for example, if I want some feedback from, I'm just going to type there for me. Sorry, it's not letting me there. But I can request feedback from other members of my club. I can also attach. Now this is where, if I got a scanned copy from the evaluator, or if I got the physical sheet and I want to scan it myself, you can select a file and you can put it in here. And when you post that, it'll go on to your feedback section. So you'll see, let's go to ePortfolio. So you'll see any documents that you have, they would all be here. So in level 1. So this is another place that, as well as the feedback section, as I said, there is places where you can actually store your documents. So within my level 1, I can go add file, exact same as I showed before. You can select the scan copy and you would add that here. And I haven't added my ones. I put mine in my feedback section, so you're not seeing it here, but you get the idea. Similarly, if I was an evaluator and I wanted to send a feedback to any people within my club, I could go to Martin's profile here and feedback, and I can select the file and send that to Martin. I can also select if I want just Martin to see it and his manager, or everyone to see it. And within here we also have badges, so we can give our badges whether it's collaborative, courageous, exceptional, innovative. So we're giving a kind of a personal kind of feedback to the person of how they inspired us. So that really sums it up. I just wanted to give a quick overview of Basecamp, what you should do for your first ever, your first icebreaker, and what's expected of you for an evaluation point of view. So I really hope that this has. I'm just going back to myself. So I really hope. Are we back? Yeah, sorry, sound was jumped there. So I really hope that's been helpful for you, and please send feedback. I'm going to stick this on the page for our club page, so hopefully we'll get to share it with a few other clubs, and it might be helpful for them. So the best luck in your Pathways journey, and remember, there is plenty of Toastmasters out there that have already started their Pathways journey. So if you have any questions, there's many online forums within. There's a Facebook Pathways group, and there's lots of help out there, and lots of fellow members that have already been through this, and you're not alone. So the best luck in your Pathways journey, and again, I really hope this has helped, and take care. As I said, I'm Stephen Downey, and I'm with Phoenix Tower Toastmasters in Dublin, Ireland. Take care.